right, official prediction, Gastelum versus Whittaker. Kelvin Gastelum, and I will tell you why. Kelvin Gastelum's got as good a hands as anybody. Now, I would not try to make believe for you guys that Kelvin is as good of a pure kickboxer as Robert Whittaker. I wouldn't try to do that. I would hope that you wouldn't try to come back at me and say that Kelvin is not as effective of a striker as Robert Whittaker, because that'd be real simple numbers, and we'll pull up both of their records and look how many knockouts they both have. Look how many TKOs that they both had from a sequence that started on the feet. Kelvin is every bit as effective. Why? Because he's got the power. Now, when Kelvin does his finest work, and you have to hear me out on this, when Kelvin does his finest work, it is when he is wrestling heavy. Kelvin's hands work the best when he's heavy in the wrestling department because of the threat. And I don't subscribe to the idea that Kelvin's got to take Whittaker down. And it's a very good thing that I don't. I'm Team Kelvin, and I must tell you, that wouldn't be great. I don't know that Kelvin can just take Robert there and keep him there. Oh, and by the way, do that for at least 3 of the 5 rounds to grab this thing. I don't think it's that kind of a situation. After what I saw Whittaker do defensively over the course of 10 rounds with Yoel Romero, I fully respect Whittaker's ability to stay on his feet. Now, I would offer you this, though. When Kelvin is making the threat of the takedown, and he did this with Heinisch, okay, if you go and watch that fight with Heinisch, and I realize that Kelvin finished most of those takedowns. I realize that. But it was because of the threat. It wasn't because of the takedown. It was because of the threat of the takedown that Kelvin also got those big shots in, and also stopped Heinisch from getting as many of his big shots in. Because now Heinisch, but okay, Whittaker's going to be in the same spot. Heinisch is now thinking about defending takedowns, which is what makes the punches open up, but is also what stopped Heinisch from having the same output as perhaps he would have, and he didn't have to worry about the wrestling. And you guys will remember the announcers that night, right? You remember Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier, they sitting there watching, man, he's back. John Anik saying he's back. And they were saying he's back because they were so impressed with the takedowns. And it was a good and gritty and hard-fought win, needed win by Kelvin. I just saw something different. I did not see that Kelvin is back because he's finishing takedowns. I saw that Kelvin was back because he was threatening the takedowns. And the story of Kelvin's fight with Heinisch, I believe, has been mistold. That it was about ground and pound. It was about control. It was about top position by Kelvin. When Kelvin remembers who he is, which is a very good wrestler, that's when his hands open up. Go ask Heinisch about it. Ask Heinisch if he got that black eye and that swollen nose from a takedown. Kelvin did. He got it from the shots landed because Kelvin got the respect of Heinisch and made him believe for 15 straight minutes, I can and will attempt to take you down. And I can't make enough of that word, attempt. Threat of the takedown. There is nothing worse in life than speculation. You want to really hurt somebody's feelings? You want to get a nasty rumor started about somebody? Don't say anything at all. Just give enough details and make the audience speculate. It's damning. And I offer that example to you, okay, of gossip and trying to hurt somebody's feelings because it's a psychological effect. It's the same effect in MMA. This is a major game of make the guy think you're going this way when you're going this way. Make him think a kick's coming so that the punch lands. It's a major game of guess, and your opponent is a detective at all times. He is trying to read you. He's trying to study you. He's trying to do his little police work to know what's coming next. So your opponent, while thinking he's going to be a step ahead of you, is actually your accomplice. He's going to help you fool himself because he's looking for these clues. He's looking for the clues so he can respond. Right? It's just one of these things. And I bring that to you because I have seen some fights where Kelvin has come out and tried to look like Mr. Cool. He had a new jab at one point. He had a jab at one point where he was doing the Tommy Hearns. He was dropping his lead hand in front of him. It was one of these things, and he ate a whole bunch of shots because of it. What Kelvin did against Heinisch, the announcer said, Joe Rogan says, he's back. But what Kelvin was doing is what Kelvin does, which is remembering he's in an MMA fight. He's a complete mixed martial artist. Kelvin Gastelum is well-rounded as they come. He truly is. You're not going to submit the guy. Just take that off the board. In a realistic, take that off the board. Very hard to hurt on his feet. Very easy for him to hurt you. Very hard to take down. Very good at taking people down. Oh, and then forget the grit. Doesn't matter how tired he is. He's never going to stop. He's one of those guys. He is dog tough. I'm not telling you he's not going to be tired 3 and 4 and 8 minutes in like everybody else. I'm telling you he's not going to change. He's coming after you. He is a gamer. And this is a big statement I'm saying. I don't know if I've ever told you anybody could beat Robert Whittaker. When Whittaker fought Adesanya, I was picking Whittaker. I mean, just to put in perspective for you, I have the utmost respect, and I don't see any holes in Whittaker's game. That's not what this is about. But I was Kelvin's coach for a period of time. And I remember telling him in front of the group, I said, Kelvin, I don't know what you're good at. Meaning that you're a jiu-jitsu master, that you're a wrestling master, that you're a kickboxing master. I don't know what you're good at. But if I was to coach against you, I don't know what your weaknesses are either. I just don't know where Kelvin's weaknesses are. So as good as Whittaker is, as fast as Whittaker is, decorated as Whittaker is, and as much as Whittaker has proven he's made for championship rounds, and Whittaker has proven that. Whittaker is not only a former world champion, Whittaker is a future Hall of Famer, mark my words. I don't know where Whittaker's going to score his points, though. He's not going to take Kelvin down. He's not going to submit Kelvin, and I think you guys would agree with me on that. So now he's got one way to win, which is to punch and kick Kelvin more times than Kelvin punches and kicks him. Ask Adesanya how easy that was to do with KG. It's very difficult. Uriah Hall will tell you. Uriah Hall's lightning fast. He'll tell me that guy's just hard to hit. And by the way, Kelvin's not all that fast, but he's really hard to hit. Kelvin's also got a body. I must bring for you, a lot of the greats had something different about him. It could be John Jones with the reach advantage, or it could be Mike Tyson, where he's a little bit more compact and short to the ground. You could even carry this over to guys like Willie Mays and Babe Ruth. But of all of the sports, all the greats have something that was a little bit different about him. And the thing with Kelvin, his body naturally is made for striking defense. When Kelvin puts his hands up and his chin down, the way his shoulders are built, okay, they cover his whole damn face. When Kelvin puts his hands up, it looks like anybody else doing this. His shoulders just tight as there's nothing to hit. Also, because he's a little bit shorter for that division, it's very hard to get under. And I realize that would surprise us all if Whittaker attempted to take Kelvin down. That's not what he does. All the same, you got to take it off the board. And if you're thinking realistically, and you're picking Whittaker, and I know a lot of you are, those boys are going to figure it out on Saturday, but we're going to argue about it right now, right? I mean, that's what we do. That's how we have fun. I say who I think's going to win, or you say who you think's going to win. I say why, and you say why. We go back and forth, but I only share with you. You're going to be painted into a corner. You're going to have to say that you believe, based on history, that you believe Whittaker wins this on his feet by outstriking Kelvin. That's not the world's worst bet, by the way. I mean, if you want to bet that, I wouldn't tease you for that. I'm just saying you really are locked down. If I was to say that Kelvin was going to win, I could name any of the ways. I could say he could take him down and pound it out. I could say Kelvin could catch him in a submission, particularly a guillotine choke. I could say that Kelvin could knock him out. Right? I mean, Kelvin does a little bit of everything. It's one of these things. It's one of these things where we've been taught over time, or at least told over time, that the more well-rounded you are, the better you are. But I believe that I've got you to agree with me that Kelvin is the more rounded of the two. I don't know that I've got you to agree with me that Kelvin's going to beat Whittaker. I think a lot of you still think Whittaker. There's a reason he's the favorite. But these are my reasons why thinking there's going to be an upset. I've laid them out for you. I'll be reading the comments. I want to know what you think.